us out on YouTube Live. And for Youth Flex, a program for all people by young people. Youth Flex, more in talk.
Some cry, some smile, some fight every day.
Finally, they're replacing Tariq.
Cause
it's the season we've been waiting for. The season of engagement.
And we all know who's hosting.
Unchangeable.
She been waiting far too long now.
Let's do this.
Hey, no matter how the dollar might stack up, me still not change me. I go stay up.
Here's our host, Mahindra Brown. Youth Flex is a call-in program. You can call us at 1-800-534-8255.
Okay, on a ready now? Here is Mahindra Brown.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Youth Flex Radio Show, the show for all people by young people. I am your host, Mohindra, and welcome to Youth Flex Season of Engagement. Joining us today, we'll be having Gimme Storytellers, CIYA National Youth Forum, on some pressing issues they would like to address. Spelling Bee winners and Spelling Bee organizers.
Youth Flex is partnered with the Clifton Hunter High School, John Gray High School, and the Public Library to bring you the word of the week, which is spiel, S-P-I-E-L. It is a noun that means a voluble line of often extravagant talk.
So let's get started. As always, you're welcome to join in the conversation by calling us at 1-800-534-8255. That's 1-800-534-8255. Toll-free courtesy of Flow. Or join us on YouTube Live.
But before we chat with our guests, let's take our first music break. Here is Phil Collins with Another Day in Paradise. people by young people.
Welcome back, my dear listeners. We have with us our guesses, the Spelling Bee winner and the Spelling Bee organizers. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right. Can you please introduce yourself around the room?
But you got to spell it.
Yeah.
My name is blah, 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 blah. Spell it out. Go.
My name is Ikena Elewanya, IKENNAELEWEANYA. I am 9 years old and the primary spelling bee winner.
All right.
How long has is Royal Bank does the primary
Primary.
and Lions does the secondary?
Secondary.
How long has Royal Bank been doing the primary spelling bee?
22 years.
How long has Lions?
The whole thing from the start.
From the beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
I remember
36.
when I was in primary school, they had something called a general knowledge quiz that the Lions used to do. And they used to have the Lions Center. Before they had a big medal
We
building.
had that actually like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, who does that now? The general knowledge quiz.
Is that Brain Bowl?
We do that
Yeah,
now.
Brain
The
Bowl.
Brain
Brain
Bowl.
Bowl.
It's another sponsor, KPMG.
That's KPMG.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But they do it for primary, is that?
Oh,
think
no.
that's
no,
like-
I think
it's
it's
high
high
school. It's high school.
Yeah.
Well, it's a mixture actually.
Yeah, it's a mixture.
Year 6 and still do it.
Okay. Cool. So,
So Mitzi.
tell us a little bit about
Can I spell my name?
Yes, why not? It's a spelling
I'm just joking.
It's a spelling thing.
Okay. So I'm Mitzi Bailey, and 22 years ago, the Ministry of Education approached us and asked us to partner with them in putting on the primary school spelling bee. And from day one, I've been with the event. So every year we organize in conjunction with the Department of Education Services, and children age 9 to 11 take part. We have had years that younger than that challenged it, and we used to do like divisions all over the island, and it evolved to something like Scripps. So now it's just a one-day event when all schools, all public and private, participate. So last year they also, even up to last year, we had homeschoolers involved. And Jamo, I think your son took part too,
Yes,
as
he
well.
represented Life at
Yes,
school. Yeah.
yes. So 22 years and counting. Still glad to do this for the Cayman community, because our island is stronger and better because of education.
So what happened with our bee champion after conquering our country? Does he go on to do some regional bee or international bee?
We have in the past, we sent, I remember the year when we sent our winning student to Barbados, and they really did well, like all day. The chaperones, I guess, were like messaging me and letting me know how it was going, and our speller was in there for up to 5 hours.
Wow.
Still spelling and still in the running. So not only that, the students, I get really excited when I talk about this, because it's like something very dear to me. But our students that participate in the spelling bee, they go on to do wonderful things. So we've watched them over the years. Even like at year 10, we reflected on those first 10 years, and just to see where the students or young people were at that time, and then at the 20-year mark, and now we're at 22. And lawyers, doctors, veterinarian, one became a pastor, and he's like majoring in Spanish now and everything else, so he's doing theology somewhere else. What else? I mean, it's not just that, but even in the essays and like the Breen Bowl and all the different things, you can watch those students, and it's so such a great feeling. Like when I interact with them, some of the students that I saw like in the primary school spelling bee, and all of a sudden I'm conversing with them on a work level, and either their legal profession or wherever, and I'm talking to them like, wow. You know, just to have seen them, 22 years doesn't seem like a long time. It's a long time. And a lot of students have come through the spelling bee and have benefited. And so RBC is glad to continue our support of the spelling bee.
It's very cool. Yes, sir, from the Lions.
Yes, my name's Lion Mike Havlin. I'm also a teacher at John Gray High School, so I didn't have a hand in the competition. I sat back on that one because we had some John Gray competitors. Our chap finished third. He did a wonderful job, Jaden. And we also had a very close challenge between the first and second. Right, Miss Nikki?
Yes.
It was very, very interesting. The winning word was Bezique. Bezique.
Wow.
Yes.
What does it mean?
I have, as I said, I'm a teacher. I've been so busy, I haven't even had the chance to look it up yet.
Well, our word of the week is spiel.
Yes. That's what I can do. I'm
a lot shorter.
Exactly. And I'm an Irishman by birth, so we can do the spiel.
Yes.
Yes. So the Lions have been involved a lot in a lot of youth activities, and for example, tomorrow is International Leo Day, so we have a group of Leos at school. I know Clifton Hunter also have their Leos, and UCCI also have their Leos. Yeah. So it's really, really good that we support the youth out there, and we do the spelling bee, and we have the kids' annual Christmas party coming up, and we also have our toy drive going on Friday. There'll be a government admin building, and we'll be pushing really sort of for lots of donations so that we can now send out to the elderly as well, which is obviously our other forte, and looking after the young and the old.
All right. You have any other questions? No? You guys have any questions for us?
I have a question
For
from
him?
our winner.
All right.
You're the winner, right?
Yes.
So how did it feel to win?
Very good, honestly. The suspense, like, we were there spelling words for about 10 minutes, like, cause we knew we could mess a word up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that would be it. Boom, you're done. Even though you get even if you spell a word wrong, they have to spell 2 more words right, including the word you got wrong. It still kind of makes you feel defeated, and that is really feels bad. And then when you win, you just have to let all of that suspense out, you know. Hence why I screamed and banged the couch.
And he went running all over the place and ran down to mom.
I hope somebody will video it.
I did. I have the video.
Both mom and her filmed it. Yes.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, where are you from?
America.
America. Okay.
Yes.
I wanted to also ask, what word did you spell and win? Yeah, you winning word.
Strychnine. It's basically a very poisonous pesticide.
Oh, strychnine. Okay.
Strychnine? Okay.
Spell it for me. That's a good measure.
Yeah.
That's all right. No pressure. you did it enough, and I don't want you buying the tables.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So when he was talking about the 10 minutes.
YCHNINE. That's how you spell the word.
Okay,
all right.
So when he was speaking about the 10 minutes, it was basically because they had such a tight battle for words, and so they were going back and forth between 2 of them.
They didn't even need to call us. We just switched places the instant they said correct.
Yes. So that was really good.
So would you say it took a lot of hard work and dedication?
Yes, definitely. About about 3/3 of 2 months.
Whoa.
Yes.
Cause they told us about it in September, the first few weeks of September, and then they gave us until November 26th to study, right? And I was like, and honestly, sometimes you can feel like, why did I ever accept the study for this glorified spelling test?
9 years old.
But it feels good now, right?
Yes, it does.
Yes. Well, I want to thank you all for coming on and sharing this moment with us. Look forward to the video. Put it on YouTube somewhere so we can all check it out.
Sorry, I could just mention that the winner of the secondary was Siri Bata, and she was a fabulous contestant from the BRAC. And the runner-up was Alex from Clifton Hunter High School.
Okay.
But hold on, before we close off, I wanted to ask you, what school are you from?
Red Bay Primary School.
All right, Red Bay.
So this year we had 3 boys in the primary. We had 3 boys, first, second, and third. So first and third were from Red Bay Primary,
yes.
And the
Third was
second place
from Bontown.
Theolin McCoy Primary School, which is was formerly called Bontown Primary School.
Yeah.
And it was very exciting for everybody.
Yeah.
And the winner for the seniors was actually a winner in
The juniors
primary
before?
as well. So we saw that on a number of occasions. That the
primary
spelling bee primary winner goes on, and then they do it again in the secondary. So.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I really want to thank you for your time. Thank you for
Yes.
coming and hanging out with us. But like that.
And also, when we came back to school from when we won the competition, so basically, since we were so proud, we wanted to go to every class and show off
Yeah.
before we brought our trophies to the office, right? And while we were doing that, we just dropped in the little thing that you win money.
Yeah,
Just to make them, just incent them to join the spelling bee when they're old enough.
Very good.
How much money do you win?
$300.
Oh, that was worth the
Tell them
trip.
about all your prizes.
That
Jordan
worked the
in third place won 100.
Okay. Oh, in second place gets 200. In first place gets
I
300.
think so. I didn't ask
Every
the
year
second place winner.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There were
What did the
electronics
last
for the
year's
secondary.
winners get again?
Tablets and
Electronics,
Yeah,
and
electronics.
laptops and stuff.
yeah.
Okay then.
So start practicing for secondary. All right. Well, we can take a quick music break and we come back and we hang out with some storytellers.
Here is Busy Signal with Stay So.
Streets anywhere we go. Dog them serious. Dog them no nervous.
Welcome back, my dear listeners. We have finally the Gimme Storytellers. I've been waiting on this all the time.
So you just won't tell story, you ask some questions.
We're gonna do both. We're gonna juggle, man. We're gonna juggle. We're gonna juggle. All right. So can you guys please introduce yourselves?
Sure. Well, we're the Story Crafters. I'm Barry.
I'm Jerry.
I'm Quincy.
All right.
And he's not the Story Crafters. He's Quincy, and there's nothing more needs to be said.
I mean,
than
the
Quincy.
Story Crafters have made a name for themselves. I mean, you can go onto Google, you can go onto YouTube, and just simply put in the Story Crafters USA, and you'll pull up a lot of their work. And I think they're a hit with young children, particularly. I've seen them in the schools, and I've seen how the children just gravitate toward them. They're musical, they're funny, and there's always some moral behind their stories. And there are families, just mom and dad, it is true. But I've seen the entire family on stage making magic with stories. They're really good.
Whereas from what we've seen by being here in the Cayman Islands, Quincy has made a name for himself because anyone we meet knows Quincy.
Oh, yeah?
Well, you see, we're small. We're only a population of 65,000, 3 islands, you understand?
Yeah.
Now, if you put me in the United States and everybody, if I were living there and everybody knew who I was, then I could call myself a celebrity. But in the Cayman context, that don't work. Everybody know who everybody is, you understand?
You're like dengue fever. You're just known fast.
Or something that you got that you really wish you didn't have around.
Yeah, that's right.
Dengue fever. I hope I'm not as bad as that, though, Jamo.
No. Our head ball, man. Ball heads don't have dengue.
Ja would never get a power to a ball head. What a mess we in.
Where are you guys from?
We're from
Which
New York State.
New York? All right. All right.
So can you please tell us what people can expect at Gimme Story this year?
Oh, people can always expect wonderful things at Gimme Story every year, and this year's no exception. There's going to be stories tonight, actually, down at East End at 7 o'clock. So we hope people will come down, and there's going to be Duppy stories, of course, because that's a real piece of Gimme Story. Has to happen. That's Saturday night, right? At 7 at the Smith Barkadir. That's what they like. I always call it Smith Cove. Is it the same thing or not?
No, that's for the people that are not from here.
Got you. All right. So guess what? I just proved I am not from here.
Darling, that's fine because I mean it's all without even realizing it. We always have this sort of them and us. So we say Smith Barkadir. And of course, those that join us say Smith Cove. So, it's kind of one of them things that separates us, but it unites us as well because it makes us all.
Just make sure you go to the right place.
That's right. Exactly.
But no, that's not tonight, so don't go there tonight.
Don't go there tonight.
No, you want to be going to East End tonight at 7 o'clock.
Right, so start now so you get ahead of the traffic.
Because look here, what a pile of traffic we got jammed up in to get to Wynwood up there tonight. We better start from soon, I agree. Give me a story.
Yes. All right, now.
So where in East End it could be?
Well, according to the schedule I have here, it says East End Beach. But I wouldn't worry. I can't get that must be the beach there next to the gas station. All I know is once you go up to Wynwood Day East End,
you're supposed to see something.
You're supposed to see it because you're supposed to see the chairs set up. You're supposed to see the
tall
talls, right? So
other years that we've been out there, it's so obvious from the road. You can't miss it. It's right there. You're driving on the road.
You see, East End and Bordentown is different from George. You see, Georgetown got so many side roads and avenues and streets and venues.
You probably gonna miss it. You gonna miss it.
What gonna miss what?
You would miss it in town.
You would miss it in town.
Right, because you're not sure where you gotta go. But East End, that's why they say.
One road.
That's right, and so that's why they say they're going up to Wynwood or to Loward, because you're either going east or you're going west.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
You're going to get lost. Well,
all roads lead to East End tonight, and as we've alluded to, we better start getting that. We better start to leave out here soon, because traffic gonna be bumper to bumper going up there.
We're not gonna take up too much more of your time then.
But where's the story?
I want to tell one little story, one little quick short one. Yeah.
That means a joke then?
Something else. Come on.
One short story. Give them a taste of what they could get.
Like, how many minutes would you say? Like
60 seconds.
That's
wow.
too short.
The world's shortest ghost story.
Oh, no. You're not doing that.
That's a terrible thing.
No. Do you have something?
Okay.
A short joke?
Yeah.
Gosh. All right. But it has to be family appropriate here.
Yes, right. Yeah. So then.
No. You're going to stop
All right,
me.
we're going to think. Okay. You're going to talk.
All right, so in the meantime, we want to say thank you to CUC, Webster's Tours, Foster's Food Fair. Foster's, better because we care. Hurley's, Kirk Supermarket, Subway. I used to be a radio announcer, you know,
Yeah,
so,
man,
that, so anytime you put me in front of a microphone,
Do your thing, boy.
I put on my broadcaster's
Yes.
hat then. We got to say thank you to Subway, Simboko, Chicken, Burger King, Sing's Roti Shop, Marshall's Car Rental, and Gaston Maloney. We say thank you to all of these fine individuals and businesses for making this the 20th annual. Guinness Story turns 20. On and I reached 20 yet. On the reached 20, but I'm not 20 yet.
18, man. Youth Flex been around 18 years.
Very
The
good.
next thing I
Almost
wanted
there.
to ask you, you can tell me the schedule. You can repeat it again in case someone
Absolutely.
over there.
tonight.
And that's the
Yeah.
beautiful thing with radio. People always tuning in. I'm thinking of on a joke,
got one.
right?
I got
You
one.
got one?
I got
Okay.
one. I'm ready.
So
All right.
East End is tonight, esta noche in East End at the East End Beach, starting at 7 o'clock. All shows are 2.5 hours. We start at 7 o'clock. By 9:30, we're done. And we're giving a good mix of nice Cayman stories, Jamaica stories. We have the Trinidadian Caisonians. This is what makes Gimme Story international. I remember a year we had a storyteller from Ireland. I'll never forget that year. He's never come back, but he was quite, well, he was quite the hit, though. He was quite the hit. So, is Gimme Story Caymanian? Yes, it is, because it's diverse. And if you look around Caymanian society, you want to see diversity, right? So it's very international. And thank you to CNCF for allowing this to happen for 20 years. All right, so tonight East End, tomorrow night we're going Little Cayman. Tomorrow is December 5th, and then West Bay is Friday, December 6th at Jefferson Beach. We just call it West Bay Public Beaches, where Chef John does his barbecue right there. And then Georgetown is Duppy Story Night on December the 7th.
All right.
All right, so here we go. So the reason we were having so much trouble coming up with a story that was 1 minute long is because storytellers think of stories as long distance road trips. So it takes longer than a minute to tell a story and to enjoy the road trip, enjoy the journey of the story. So when you come out to Gimme Story, you hear stories that are 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes long. That's the way it works. So I had to just go to a different part of my brain, to the place where instead of going on the journey, you're just trying to get to the destination. And that's where I found it. And so it's a story about a piece of rope.
Okay.
And the piece of rope walked into a restaurant, and the piece of rope walked over and sat down at a table in the restaurant, and immediately the waiter came over and said to the piece of rope, "We don't serve rope here, get out of here." And the piece of rope got very upset. The piece of rope went running, crying out of the restaurant, threw himself down onto the ground, was beating himself on the ground, wrapped himself up, tied himself up. He got all ripped and torn. And then that piece of rope that was all ripped and torn and tied up came back into the restaurant and sat down at the table. And the waiter came over and said, "I told you we don't serve rope here. Are you that same piece of rope?" And the rope said, "No, I'm afraid not."
Afraid of that.
Gimme story. Gimme story. Gimme story. Gimme story. And we always start with the Gimme Story theme, which is wo yo yo yo. Come let we go.
Come, let we go.
Yeah, man.
That means on Go East End.
Yes.
We got East End. So who can you expect tonight? Well, all right. Our storytellers in East End tonight is David Barrow and Black Sage. The story crafters, of course. We've just met Jerry and Barry. Matt Brown, our very own Matt Brown.
I really got Go East End.
A bag of talent and more. Matt Brown, our local storyteller. And also Virginia Antivy. And, well, they've asked me to be the master of ceremony, so I probably won't have a set story. I'll just sort of segue in between each act.
Story in between each one.
Well, yeah, but not too long. You don't want to drag it out either.
No, get from his short section.
But you know something? My 10-second story is I went to the hospital. I said, "Doctor, I'm having trouble. I'm having double vision. I can't see good. I got in double vision." The doctor said, "Mr. Brown, shut one eye."
Nice.
Love that.
See, you already got your own category too, man. All right, I look forward to tonight. I hope people can join us up there, because it sounds like it'll be a pretty cool evening. East End always nice and windy as well. So
Yeah.
that'll add to the mystique. really nice. Thank you all for coming on.
Oh, we're delighted.
Pleasure.
We ain't done yet.
Where you are? You have more questions?
Yeah, we have a couple more questions to ask them.
They got to go.
All right.
Beat traffic.
Before you guys leave, I wanted to ask you, since we're in our season of engagement, I wanted to ask, how are you engaged in the community in Cayman, and how would you like to see young people or others get engaged?
Well, for us, it's all about the stories. You know, it's all about finding the stories of Cayman, finding the stories of your life, and understanding the importance of them, and getting those involved in Cayman culture, because your story as you present it through your life is the thing that's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Well, getting engaged is a nice thing, you see, darling child, because
That means you're close to married.
exactly. You don't want nothing more special than getting engaged close to Christmas time.
And
as
that
a
would help
result-
us. That would help us get.
That means
that would help us get status.
No. In Cayman,
Oh yes,
you're
that
engaged,
can run down status. But so a Christmas wedding is coming up. I found a beautiful, beautiful young lady from West Bay, and we're engaged. And since the new law has passed, Bob wants to engage with me too. So I have a choice: should I marry Bob or should I marry Angela? All right, not a good joke, but I thought I'd be facetious. But no, on a serious note though, getting engaged, I think it's very important. Stories keep us connected, and I'm always very grateful when I have the opportunity, whether it's through the Cayman National Cultural Foundation, or whether it's through the CTA, Cayman Traditional Arts, or as an individual. They invite me into the schools, and I really take the students back on a journey when it comes to our Caymanian heritage, because I let them know how things used to be, and we use pictures and colors to paint our words to describe it to them. And I think in order for us to engage as a community, we have to listen to one another, because this new tapestry that we're enjoying today, called the new Caymanian culture, it is a mecca. It is beautiful, and we can continue to weave it if we would but listen to each other and be tolerant, be understanding, and let us respect the traditions in place, while embracing the positive changes that will come. I'm happy to be a part of that, and I always invite students your ages to do the same thing. And I thank the older heads, our grandparents and great-grandparents in their 70s, 80s, and 90s for their contribution, because they laid the foundation, just like CNCF, the Cultural Foundation. There's a foundation that has been laid that we can now build upon. And it's happening whether you realize it or not. Some people do it under a breadfruit tree drinking rum, and you say they're self-destructing, they're not going no way, but they're engaged. Our wonderful parliamentarians do it every time they go inside the house. They're engaged too. So how do we build a nation? How do we understand our identity as Caymanians? By engaging in the stories and listening to one another. Love and acceptance.
And engaging the imagination, because if you the thing that we always say is, especially with young people, if you want the world to be different, how can you create a different world if you can't see what you want that's not here right now? And that's why you need the imagination, and the stories are to nurture that.
Yes.
Well,
Nice
coming
to
up
put.
next, we could be having a youth forum on with the youth assembly, and we could be talking about the traffic issue. So
we'll listen from the car as we're on the way to East End.
Along with other issues, but that's amongst them.
All right then.
Thank you guys so much for coming on today. We'll now take another music break. Here's Josh Pearl with Caymanian Like This and Like That.
Look, I used to spend my summers throwing rocks. Father told me you should never trust a city cop. Well, that's cool. I just paid a ticket last week, and honestly, I'm sick of giving government my last cheese. As an island boy, I never took a taxi. I just stuck my thumb out for the bus. Now that's $2 for a backseat. I'm in the backseat screaming. If you ask me, I'm lying. I was hyped up off that Tupac with my skateboard. Now I'm headed to the skate park where my is all chilled on the weekend, working all week just to make weeks in. Before that night came, I was always on the run, cause mama said you gotta make it home before the sun. And if that sun came, boy, some trouble. And if that belt came, boy, don't make a mumble. Ain't it funny how our life works? Cause we can make the dark bright with some light work. Yeah, ain't it funny how our life works? Cause we can make the dark bright with some light work. Like this and like that and like this and it's like this and like that and like this and it's like this and like that and like this and it's like this and like that and like this and it's like this, it's like that, it's like this, it's like that, it's like this and like that and like this and it's like this and like that and like this and it's like this when I was 15, riding with my whip clean, gas was always empty, pockets never steady. My friends started to tempt me, I started sipping, I was feeling lonely, no virginity at 16. My girl was only 15. I knew her mama liked me, but her daddy tried to fight me. It was more than likely to make her as my wifey, so I made a wifey. Yeah, I made a wifey, now I'm dumb in love. Funny how I'm growing up, summer's up. Bet the class, you know what's up. A lot of bad girls, a lot of good ones. Caught me with a bad girl, having good fun, and my love was right there in my right ear, telling me she loved me, and whatever that is. I'd be lying if I said it was for practice. Truth is she was my love, but what really happened? Ain't it funny how our life works? Cause we can make the dark bright with some light work. Yeah, ain't it funny how our life works? Cause we can make the dark bright with some light work. Like this and like that and like this and it's like this and like that and like this and it's like this and like that and like this and it's like this and like that and like this and it's like this, it's like that, it's like this, it's like that, it's like this and like that and like this and it's like this and like that and like this and
Pay tribute to yesterday's musical legends. In honor of the Caymaneers and the Tornadoes Band, Friday, December 6th at the Lions Center, CMEA's second annual
Night with Legends.
Who's gonna be there? Fab Five out of Jamaica.
Slim girl, fat girl in a
Local Motion 345, Impulse Band, Regeneration Band.
A Night with Legends, Friday, December 6th. Tickets, $20 prepaid, $30 at the gate. There will also be a $1,000 cash prize entry ticket raffle at the Lions Center.
8 p.m. Be there.
Tickets available at Funky Tangs and eventpro.ky.
Traffic congestion is bad for your mental health, bad for your wallet, and bad for the environment. Alternative commuting habits are the solution. Cycling, walking, busing, or carpooling will help save you money, benefit your health, conserve energy, and help the environment. Do your part. Visit the ministry Facebook page for details of plans for bicycle lanes, the latest bus schedules, and be an energy advocate.
Youth Flex for all people by young people.
Welcome back, our dear listeners. We finally have CIYA talking about their topics that they have this year. All right, can you please introduce yourselves?
Okay, hello, my name is Denise Suico. I'm
What the hits that song? Yeah.
17 years old from Triple C, and I'm the secretary for the CIYA this year. And this is my partner, Diavion.
My name is Diavion Thompson, and I am public relations.
Okay. Me?
Yeah.
I just there.
Oh my. All right. So what are some of the topics, the questions you guys have this year?
So this year we have two topics, and the first topic is, should the government make it mandatory for businesses to provide 3 hours a week at least paid work experience for high school students? And the second topic is,
should the government restrict one vehicle per household and restrict the import of vehicles that are 10 years or older?
All right, our dear listeners, I want you to join in on this conversation by calling us at 1-800-534-8255. That's 1-800-534-8255. Toll-free courtesy of Flow. We need you to answer these questions so that CIY can use this as feedback to help them shape in their information.
Yeah, but I won't comment a bit on some of the issues.
Yeah.
The one about teen work, I know it came up in CIYA about not getting adequate work experience and stuff. And then we've noticed it at the youth services unit when young people are looking employment, that all the entry-level positions there's been advertised, they want 3 and 4 years experience and all that. And so where will a young person ever get this kind of experience if they don't get work experience from like while they're in school?
Yeah.
And at a discussion that we had at a stakeholders meeting, a gentleman there said that he recalled like working as a teenager, like as a rite of passage, you know, to prepare you for adulthood. And a lot of teenagers feel that they're not prepared for adulthood when they turn 17 and 18, and now they're being asked to do adult stuff. They're shocked because they're not being prepared for it.
It's true. It is true, because I know that myself and Gabby, we can vouch for that. Oh, we have Gabby in the room as well. But I know me and her, we can vouch for it, because I didn't know how to open up an account and stuff like that. I always had to go to my parents and ask them to. And it's annoying for a young person, like you're trying to get ready to go into adulthood and you don't know how to open an account. You don't know how to manage, how to like spend and save. It's a thing that's been going on for a while. We've always been complaining about it. They want to teach us about algebra. This is one thing I always been arguing about in school. I don't need to know numbers in maths. I need to know how to handle myself when I get older. Like they should be teaching us how to open bank books, how to save, loans, what is a loan, stuff like that. They should be teaching us those kind of things if we're not getting it.
Okay. And how to look at contracts.
Exactly, and how to read the fine print. That's something I don't learn. I learned that from watching movies. I'm not gonna lie. I learned that from movies when they say read the fine print. That's the only way that how I learned that. I didn't learn that in school.
Yeah, so I think that's some of the benefits that young people could have. That along with also curbing the unemployment rate.
And the next thing I want to add, for me, because I want to be a chef, a thing, right, is for chefs, going to school isn't that really a big thing, but getting the experience, it's more valuable than getting the paper. And I know that lots of chefs, they know this. Like, I know a lot of chefs that don't go to school. They just been up in the kitchen for their whole
but they're
life.
Still very highly successful,
But a lot of restaurants and places in Cayman, they restrict from trying to hire the young people, because if they get hurt on the job, it's them that's gonna be at the fault, the whole company. So they're trying to say that having a young person sometimes is a risk, because of course us young people, we're curious, we're gonna try to want to do other things, and we might be hard to control, but still, if you can help shape us and mold us, we can be something that you wouldn't imagine. We'll come out so well.
Yeah, but adults get hurt on the job too.
Yeah, but they always have a way to argue to that too, you know. They always have a way to argue.
I feel like if we are to skip a couple years and start at 17, so if we were to get into an entry-level job at 17 and gain the experience, and then
it would be such a big turnout.
There would be a lot of other steps that could get cut out. So instead of at 17, let's say we go out and we work at Foster's and we just the bare minimum, working $6 an hour, just cashing stuff.
Exactly.
We will then learn certain trades like how to do numbers like that, or you know, what's the price of rice, or what we would need to survive.
Or just good customer service.
Good customer service, and then you can turn that into then working in an office job in the bank somewhere, because then you would use that customer service, you would use that knowledge of money to work somewhere else, and then you know it builds on itself. So I mean, for companies to take the risk for us young people is it is a risk, it is a liability.
It's a risk to take though,
but it's something that'll better the community, and it'll
better your company as well.
Your company, and the younger people, the more people that you train from young, the better or longer that you might have them in your company, and to grow up in, you know, that kind of an area and arenas would you know be successful for Cayman. And
I have a next thing to ask all the young people inside here. What's the main things you see like causing us to do like something stupid? Could be boring or nothing to do. That's one big thing I know. Because I know people who make the wrong decisions for the wrong reasons, but one the common thing I hear them saying that I bored, they nothing to do here. But you see, if they had like jobs open up for like young people to go try, we wouldn't be bored. We'd be making money and we'd be doing something. We'll be
involved
doing
in the community.
So, because I know one of the arguments was that they already have this work experience programs for young people.
But you know, and some of the works they be putting them to do, they should be getting paid for it.
Not
all
just that, but
the construction ones.
It's also about the incentive of getting paid. Because I know personally, I worked over the summer and throughout my time at UCCI, so I know that the incentive of after you going to class, you have to structure your day that okay, I'm going to get picked up at 2:30 so that I can go to work for XY time and come back home by 7:30, and I have assignments I have to get done and turn in before 12:01 in the morning. So you know that you have to put structure to those kinds of things, and simple stuff like that will teach young people to have structure, to grow independently and not depend so heavily on your parents. So instead of me going to my mom and asking her, hey mom, can I get $20 to go out, or can I have $50 to go order this pair of shoes, it was, Gabby, you're working now, you can buy that yourself. You want to go out for lunch, go out for lunch with your own money. You want to go somewhere, or you want to go hang out with friends, that's fine, be back by this time, but it's on your own dollar.
So like all teaching that, it all helps as well, because I don't know if a few of you realize, but like the second that you get the little bit of freedom with some children, they take it and they go the whole 100 miles and yards, and they go every single place.
My first paycheck, I spent a meal of $120 and only
Girl,
$20 on my card.
Spent a lot of money on Popeyes.
It teaches you. It really does, because if you don't know how it feels to get a paycheck, like the whole experience, something that like we should
going
be having
into the bank and
getting
the paycheck and
getting
the money,
using the money sensibly. Using the money sensibly is the next thing. I remember I spend my money on a whole heap of foolishness. I got food.
It goes to show you're paying for what your heart desires.
Yeah,
but that's common with children.
But then
children see stuff
right?
And if they have it, they'll buy it. This is why you teach them from early.
Exactly, but like now, right?
Buy what you need, not what you want.
Because now I 17, right? And when I get my paycheck, the first thing I think of, alright, this money can't waste like that. I can't run around and go buy this money mad. Everybody sees me forces with a calculator for the reason of I want to spend a certain amount, and if I can buy something, I have to ask myself and stand up for a long time. Do I need this or do I want this? Is it a want or is it a need? Like, I have to be thinking like that. And sometimes I even make a list of stuff on my phone. So in case I run a force, I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember I was supposed to get this for mommy. Because mommy said she needs some Lysol for the house. I go get it, I give her it. Or something like that. Stuff like that. Like, you have to remind yourself that you cannot run off and go spend it. When you go spend it, you just be regretting every single penny you spent. You be regretting it.
It also teaches you, do you want that new $200 pair of J's and that's the only thing you're wearing for the next 2 weeks, or do you want to strategize and put $100 in savings and then use the other 100 for if a function comes up or a party comes up or something like that?
Because lots of
if you really want to surprise the hell out of people, you go into a place, say you want this $200 pair of Jordans, right? You go and you tell them, say, listen, I want to put down $100 on these Jordans and lay away until next month. That would shock any business owner in Cayman.
No, but
like, that's how we used to do it.
Yeah.
Before credit cards and debit cards and all these things there.
Yeah, but
we didn't used to spend nothing up front. You wanted a fridge. You pay down on that, and you keep paying down until you. But when you get it, you're not gonna worry like, oh well, I don't know, I gotta eat now. I got a fridge and nothing to eat.
Yeah.
So.
I like how you're jamming on one topic, me and touch the next one.
All right.
Okay, so you should. Everybody, I think, in Cayman knows how severe the traffic problem is, especially the people who live far away.
I live north side, so I
oh
feel
boy,
it.
yeah,
I
have
feel
some
it.
friends
I
there
feel
too.
it. I feel
she
it.
wakes up like
I have to
not
wake
even
up
sun up already, and she's already on the road.
4 o'clock in the morning, leaving out like 5, and if 6 o'clock catch me, I know I sit in the traffic. And it's a headache, but it also teaches you a lot of things, though, how to get up and how to get yourself working.
No, but I think we have now filled the island with too much cars.
Yeah, it's too much. And I think it's because of the public bus system. Because if they shaped it better, we wouldn't need cars.
Definitely.
Not saying like we wouldn't fully need car, but it wouldn't be a need. Yeah. Because I be listening on the public bus how much mornings where they be like, this is why I can't take bus for now. I supposed to be at work at so and I sort of stop there waiting for like
an hour. But there are countries and communities like in Guyana and in China and Bermuda and places like that where they do have proper bus systems, and they don't necessarily, not everybody has a car. It's only the people that are CEOs and proper formality business people who have places to go that actually own cars like that. So
the thing is, the way Cayman culture is, everybody have places to go.
True.
And that's
Yeah,
the thing,
I know.
even you check it out, just as you get a license in a car, all of a sudden you have places to go. Like,
I know, but still,
Really?
but still, like for the whole
that used to be
public
work,
bus system.
homeschool.
Yeah.
Really? You got all these places all of a sudden burning up gas on the road, clogging up the road.
But like for me, right, it's like the whole public bus system. It motivates some people to say, you know, something like I can't stand taking this
So you
bus.
thinking government should?
They should work on the system.
They should invest in proper buses and a proper route system.
Like
something,
bigger buses,
something,
because
right?
sometimes the buses are
Yeah,
really packed.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
that. What I think they should work on is like they should put a chip on the buses and then have a whole app set up, right? That like you can go out and get a bus easier, and the whole bus service and the whole bus wait and the whole
Yeah.
traveling would be easier.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest problem that I find. Because I be waiting for buses for like
That
2
sounds good.
hours.
A app, you can track the buses.
Mhm.
You see, all the buses have a button on it, like
Yeah.
Westby 2 or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
How to chip in that sticker.
Exactly, and then you could be seeing, all right, I gotta go walk out right now to catch a
No,
bus.
I know several
And, like, stuff like
several
that.
years ago, the Youth Assembly tackled this issue on transport, and it was a view that the lack of transport hampered youth development because young people couldn't get from one end of the island because we only have one track.
Mhm.
And if you're into track and field, you gotta catch a bus if your parents can't drop you.
Yeah.
And if you live east end and north side,
You sorry for you.
you
Sorry for you.
that's $3 and $4 sometimes. $8 if you live down by Kaibo
Mhm.
on the public bus.
Yeah.
Right, so
I don't live around Kaibo,
so
you know, but
what they did was we rode the buses to see how it was. We rode it during the week. We rode it on the weekends. We rode it during a holiday, just so we see how accessible it was and stuff. We noted that there wasn't any space for any disabled children.
You have to consider those too.
Yeah, or disabled passengers. We noticed that the buses would be overloaded, and that the buses didn't used to use air conditioning, and it's just miserable when you in a non-air conditioned bus
Yeah.
overloaded with sweaty people. It's just not
Yeah.
nice. So we made a note of that, and one of the recommendations they had was bigger buses, more air conditioned, have them on a schedule, have the schedule in those nice bus shelters that Rotary puts up. If you could put the schedule there, saying bus 2A arrives at this time and leaves at this time, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you have it that it's an app, then
if
you
it's
can
an app, it's more easier. It's
no,
more
but
easier.
you can track to see if bus A is almost on its way.
Yeah,
Type of
and you
thing.
can track to see if I gotta walk out now to go catch this bus or something like that.
Right. And especially if it's at raining,
Yeah.
you can say, well, I can wait till the very last minute that I see the bus is almost there,
And
make a
risk
mad
it,
dash for
yeah.
it. Right?
Yeah. All right. We gonna have to do credits, you know.
Already?
5
We
o'clock.
didn't even get a call. We gotta do it again next week.
Yeah, we gotta do it again next week. Thanks for joining us on Youth Flex. I'm your host Mohindra with my co-hosts Chloe and Gabby. Shout out to our guests, Gimme Storytellers, CIYE representatives, Spelling Bee winner and Spelling Bee organizers.
Shout out to Radio Cayman for their work on sound and boards. Mr. Will Sinatra, DJ Lynn, and DJ Silver Fox. Shout out to RJ for the YouTube feed. Also, special shout out to our Youth Flex crew. Jared for Flex Socials and Community Service, today's musical director Marco, Gabby and Daniel for Youth Flex News Desk, Angel for Promo Director, and the 100+ Youth Flex family around the globe.
Thanks for CFIS for sponsoring the Super Jam, and to you, our listeners, for listening every Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m. on Youth Flex 89.9 FM. Join us next Wednesday with Youth Flex Season of Engagement. Until next week, I'm your host Mohindra Brown, letting you know that you can't go back to change the beginning, but you can start to change where you are now.
Welcome to Funky Tank Shed and Row. More than just music. I see that you are very impressed with that television set right there.